P-I-M-P by 50 Cent, or 50 Cent, as I call him. XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, you're Steve Merchant, there's little Karl Pilkington over there. Alright?
Alright. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Listen,
oh, he's perked up.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back in the area. Well, you got something to say?
I was kept quiet in the first hour, I'll let you get on with it now.
What you got to say? Is it, just have a guess, is it about monkeys, Chinese people, or little gay fellas?
It's about little gay fellas.
Is it?
Of course it is.
Go on.
Yeah, but not because I like
Sorry, I'm
taking
just
a
making a
that.
tally, let me just note that down.
Yeah.
No, but it fascinates me, doesn't it? All stuff like that, that's a bit sort of different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that.
What,
You were showing me.
like monkeys and Chinese people?
Well, and that thing you were showing me before, the half woman.
No, you weren't impressed with that.
Well, no.
You know that woman that's got two pieces of genetic makeup in her, where it was two separate sperms and two separate eggs, fused, and she came out as sort of a normal person, but she had this residue of genetic material, and so she's had two children that aren't genetically the same as her.
Yeah.
Right? And they showed it in the paper by doing her half white and half black to show the two different, you know what I mean, just for, he went, does she look like that? I said, of course not. He went, not interested then.
Of course. Yeah.
He said, how could I tell? Not interested in that at all.
Yeah.
If I'd have said she'd given birth to a monkey, fascinated,
Yeah.
straight away.
Well, anyway.
Go on.
But that's what I'm saying, I'm just interested in weird stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
am I. That's why you're on the show.
Talking about little gay fellas and that.
Yeah.
Northern Line, beach, underground tube thing.
Not
train.
the boy band.
Right.
Right. Apparently, on a Saturday night, late, I don't know what that is, what time late is in the sort of gay community, as we've discussed before.
Yeah.
But apparently, the last carriage on the Northern Line, they all get in there.
What do you mean they all get in there?
They sort of take over the last carriage of the Northern Line on a Saturday night.
Right.
And it's like the gay carriage.
Right. And what exactly do? They just travel about on the Northern Line?
No, just have a chat and that, and like, just, you
Stick
know,
on the communards?
How do you know?
Someone told me.
See, this, I mean, I'm glad you've informed me, because it wouldn't bother me, but I feel I should be told about these things, because I'm likely to stumble onto that carriage by mistake, and it's not that it'd be a problem, it's just I might feel a little uncomfortable if there's a lot of people in, you know, the black, the black leather gear and the moustaches, the hats.
I mean, to be quite honest, they'd be annoyed.
Of course.
Because they'd be expecting something a little bit, you know.
What do you mean?
Well.
They're good looking, most of them.
Sure.
No, they are good looking fellas though, aren't they?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
They're just a lot of the gay, you know, they look after themselves and that and look good. Keep themselves.
Some of them work out, yeah.
You see, this is the problem I have, because there's a lot of areas in London and elsewhere in the country where there's a sort of, you know, it's a gay thing, you know, it's a gay public toilet, or I don't mean it's gay public, it's not like a legal thing.
It means a cottage.
But it's a cottage, whatever. I mean, I remember being, in Bristol once doing some...
You're confused when I said it's a cottage.
Yeah.
That's a term for where gay people go in toilets to sort of meet and greet each other.
Well,
shake hands.
I was at the public library in Bristol once doing some studies from a sixth form, and I think the toilet was closed in the library, and I was dying for the toilet, and I popped out and there was a public toilet behind the library. I thought, I can't believe my luck. Dashed down there, it was about 6-ish in the evening, I was working late, I was studying hard. I went in there, and I swear to God, I saw two fellas. With the...
Is that unusual? Or?
Well, no, they were up to some hijinks.
What they sort of like...
Do you know the thing that struck me?
What?
One of them had bright red underpants.
What do you mean? You saw... What,
they were actually doing, you know, they were having some kind of, you know... Well, they were having relations. They weren't even in a cubicle, they were out in the...
Where were the underpants?
What, around his ankles?
No!
Yes, I swear to God, I'm not going to make this up.
What were you?
I don't know, like, how old you are in the sixth form? 16 or whatever, 17?
Yeah, and what did you do?
Well, I actually
said... Well, you just joined in, what else did you do? You might as well,
I actually swore, I said, oh, F me. And then I went, oh, no, don't. No, I did, I swear to God. I did. I went, oh, F me. No, don't. Because I was panicked, and I ran out. And as I was walking out, a guy was coming in, I went, oh, hang on, mate. And then I thought, I better not tell him. I'll let him find out for himself. He might be going in there to join in. He might have got a call. Come down. We're going crazy on each other's ass. Come down.
It's conspiracy, Bristol
But what
conspiracy.
Annoyed me
my
was...
lover, want a bit of cart?
What angered me, Rick, was the fact that I wasn't notified, that there was not... I didn't know
there was no sign.
And afterwards, I spoke to other people about it, and they said, oh, it's a famous gay haunt. But what annoys me is I feel that they should put an ad in the local press,
Yeah.
a big paper, like once a week, like, you know, when they recall cars if they're damaged or there's a fault, or couriers might bring back stuff if they're sort of faulty goods, they say recall and we'll give you money back. They
What
should
do you
just put an advert,
suggest?
the gay community should put an advert in that just says, these are the hot spots, this is where you're likely to find us doing some stuff. If you're not gay and you might feel uncomfortable, avoid them. And just list them, or little pictures, or, you know, a map or something. Anything, because like the gay tube thing, I don't know that's
Fun. 1, 2, 3. Railway cuttings.
well, not that. It's more of a sort of social awareness thing.
Yeah.
So people, you know, don't feel uncomfortable and.
But they don't want it exactly to be like sort of walking in under a neon sign.
Why? It's legal.
yeah, big arrows. As if.
What do you mean? What's wrong with that?
Because, well, it's actually a public place. I don't think cottaging is strictly legal.
But they don't even have to specify what they're going to do.
But some people, they're not. Some of them aren't. I don't think it's
But they
probably
advertise
seen gays, is
GAY.
it? Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, but it's not the people that go out and they say I'm gay and I like Barbara Streisand. It's presumably the sort of people that do that are people that either aren't quite out yet, or do you know what I mean? Or they're doing having a quick one away to their wife and kids.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know completely how it works, but I'm sure there probably isn't a place like free bumming here tonight.
No, there is kind of.
What?
Because I was walking home one night through Soho, right? Just 'cause that's the way I have to go, not 'cause I choose. You know what I mean? I wasn't going there on that, right? So I'm walking through, right? And I was handed like a card, which was like a gay event, right? Now that's a bit weird, isn't it? That straight away he's presuming that because I'm there that time of night.
Well, and you've got a shaved head, and you sort of like, you know, you sort of like quite look after yourself, and you've got some nice clothes.
Yeah, but it's still you
And you look
can't
like a
really
little bit
presume.
rough, don't you, from Manchester?
It was
You look like a northern rent boy who comes down to stand outside McDonald's.
But the card was rubbish, right?
What do you mean?
Had this fella on it, right? All sort of greased up and that.
What would you look?
Just having a look what he'd handed me and that.
Right.
Just having a look. Picture of him sort of sailor's hat on, tan body, like just his arse out like that. And rubbish slogan, right? The best bum in W1.
Is bum there a noun or like a verb?
What do you mean?
Well, to bum. Is it like get the best bum you've ever had, or he had the best bum?
I think it's just
I don't
like
suppose you asked.
No.
I don't suppose you called the number to check. What do you mean exactly by this? Does it mean you've got a grey arse?
Do you mean I will be well bummed, or do you mean you've just got a good?
Come on now, let's
Can I just a final point about, because I asked my friend how it all works up on the Heath, because I live in Hampstead Heath, near Hampstead, and I was where I didn't want to go walking and get involved, get myself involved in anything.
How can you get involved?
No, but again, I didn't want to walk.
Sort of like, is it like, oh, you believe it? I couldn't say no. Oh, my wrist, it's knackered. What do you mean? Well, I was there for about 2 hours. I must have gone about 43 of them. But you know, I didn't like to say no because they were so pleased to see me. Oh,
well, it's
God.
not so much the fear of that. It's not.
Good skiing practice. I was doing 2 at a time for a little while.
It's not the fear of that so much as the fact that again you don't want to gate crash someone else's party. You don't, do you know what I mean?
No.
You don't. If there was a straight couple having sex, you'd want. Oh, I'm sorry, and you'd want to avoid that area. Just
Yeah,
'cause you,
of course.
But I find so someone told me how it works, and apparently you just go and you like sit on a bench or something, and then a guy just sits on the bench and they just look at each other. There's not really anything said. It's just a kind of nice evening or whatever. You know, I guess it's like 2 in the morning or whatever. And then they go off in the bushes and ding dong. But it's like I don't know how that culture's developed.
I love this program.
But
now.
why can't that be the case with women? That would be amazing. You just go out to the park at 1 in the morning. You just sit on a bench. You just
Be like a scene from Gigi.
Exactly.
Where
Great.
he's just walking along with the perambulator.
Yeah, exactly. But that would just be a joy if there was none of this formality. You've got to talk to them, buy them dinner.
Oh,
You know,
you're joking.
romance.
Oh no.
Just this kind of informal thing. It'd be great.
So what would you do then? You go up to a woman and go, "Come on,
Yeah.
let's stop mucking around."
We know why we're both sat on this bench.
There's a nice bush over there.
Yeah.
Let's have a bit.
Yeah, and then she'd go, yeah, great, thanks. I'm killing some time before I, pop into town.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect, thanks. You make my weekend.
So you're jealous of gays as well
In
as
a
me?
sense. In a way.
What do you think, Carl?
Let's put a track on.
Why are you getting scared now?
You brought it up.
Is it getting too close to the bone, so to speak?
Whereas some would argue
2005.
that waste not, want not is perhaps a little bit more pithy, a little bit more...
We should go through great sayings and phrases and say
See if he could, well, firstly, does he know what they mean? And then secondly, can he improve them?
That would be brilliant.
Well, we'll do that next time.
Let's say, okay, Winston Churchill, never have so few done so much for so many. What do you think of that? Do you know what that means?
I'd just be annoyed if I was one of them who gave a lot for a few or whatever, right?
No, gave a lot for so many. If you were one of those few that gave so much for so many, i.e. it means these few good men, their actions freed the world. They freed the world. They have an impact on every person in the world, and they were few brave men, and that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if I was one of them men who gave up his life, right, I'd want a name check. I don't want to be bungled in with everyone else who is saying a load of blokes gave it their lives, well done and that, see you later.
That's brilliant.
Did you just say bungled in?
Bungled in, yeah.
You made up a word.
You want to be bungled in?
You made up a word. See, that's it, you see, we've been looking for it. That's original, that's Karl Pilkington. I don't want to be bungled in.
Right, do you know we've chatted about charities before, haven't we?
Sure. Yeah.
Done a lot of stuff on that, right? Just coming back from Manchester, right? Got off the train at Euston.
Yeah.
Right? Off the train, walking through the busy bit and stuff. There's this fella stood there, right? Good charity worker.
Yeah.
Right? Nice looking fella. He's got his suit on, the tie and everything, quite respectable and that, right? Look down at his bucket. All money's been put in the bucket and that,
Yeah.
right? On the front of the bucket, right? He says collecting for the homeless at Christmas. Now, why can't they do that?
What, the homeless?
The homeless people. Why is some fella taking his time out, right? His own time where he could be at home. Why?
Some of us have got homes to go to.
Yeah.
Why? Do you know what I mean?
What, do you think just give them the buckets?
What are the homeless people doing whilst he's doing that? Is what I'm saying. What have they got on the timetable?
Cut out the middleman. Cut out the middleman.
What would prevent a homeless person, an entrepreneurial homeless person, just getting a bucket and writing that on there themselves?
Could I suggest something? Hunger, some drug addiction, traumas, often mental illness, just possibly too depressed to get up, put a suit on and go to Euston Station with a nice bucket with some writing on it.
And then, right, I was thinking about that, right, and I was walking down the street in London with Suzanne, saw a little homeless, well, I didn't see the homeless bloke, right, I saw a leg,
Right.
sticking out of a doorway, thought, here we go, right, walked past it, right, you're not going to believe this,
Go on.
homeless,
Yeah.
Chinese fella. I've never seen one of them. No, I'm not having a go, right? But have you ever seen? Do you know what I mean? That was a shock.
I
to me.
really don't think I have. I think he's got me there. I hate to say it, but I must say I can't remember ever seeing a homeless Chinese person.
Weird, isn't it? I actually said, I was walked past and I said to Suzanne, "Did you see that?" She went, "What?" I said, "Just look back there." She said, "What?" I said, "That homeless fella. Look back at him." She said, "What?" I said, "He's Chinese." And she said, "Yeah, good point."
Good point. Of course she did.
She said that to shut you up.
She didn't want to get into a conversation with you. I got a text from Carl yesterday, Steve.
A text from Carl, yeah.
Yeah. I'll just read it to you. Okay. See you to Moz for a face rub at 6:30 then. No bum tubes though. So I was intrigued and I called Carl and said, "I think you've just sent me a text by mistake." What's the explanation of that?
My mate, right, Russell, he said, you know, there's things that go on in life that you need to experience.
Yeah.
He said, just pop along. And I didn't say yes straight away.
What's a face rub? You mean a facial? Where you lay down...
You just clean your face with a flannel
yeah.
and that.
So
but
you're going to go lie down with another man and have your face
well,
filled
no,
with
this is what I was saying to him. There's a couple of questions. I didn't just say yes straight away. I questioned it. I said, well, I'm not that happy with this. So I said, look, there's nothing weird going on here, is there? I said, it's not a house, is it? It's a proper clinic and that. He said, yeah, it's proper. You wear a dressing gown and that. I said, well, I'm not that
So
happy
he's
with
already
that.
got you in the dressing gown?
Yeah, well, I haven't agreed to that. Today I've worn a little round polar neck sort of jumper so I don't have to take it off. It's not going to get in the way of my face. I made sure I didn't wear a shirt with a collar. I'm not taking this off. They can put the dressing gown on top of this.
Right.
I don't know if it's a woman who rubs my head. Don't know if it's a bloke or whatever.
Well, the thing is, you get extra, don't you, for your face rub, because your face goes all the way back over the top of your head down to the back of your neck.
But all I was,
so you've got a big face, haven't you?
All I was saying to him is, I'll have the face rub, but I don't know if once you're in there,
Right.
they try and sell you the old The bum tube thing.
What's a bum tube? Is that a euphemism? What are you talking about?
The thing where they pop a tube in and put coffee in your belly and it cleans you out and that.
An enema? Why would you have that?
I don't want it. I don't think
Why
you
not?
need to. Just because I think I've said to you before about, you don't need to be that clean inside. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind washing my face. But what occasion do you need where you're that cleaned out? Do you know what I mean? And it's always a clear tube and that, and you see all the stuff whizzing past. I don't understand why it's clear. I don't know why you've got to see what's coming out of you. Like it's, like the generation game, making notes of what's whizzing past. Forget it.
I was watching some different TV, saw an amazing documentary. It was called Tribes. This guy, and he goes and lives with different tribes around the world, these small little indigenous people. And there was one, he went to Papua New Guinea in Indonesia, right, Carl? He lived with the Kombai tribe. All right. Now, this Papua New Guinea is an extraordinary place because it is one of the only places left on Earth that hasn't been fully explored. There are parts of it that it's just blank on the map because they've never explored there. They don't know what's there. They don't know what's going on. So, firstly, that must already freak you out. Imagine that. 21st century, they have no idea what's going on down there.
But do they need to know if there's nothing going on?
Well, they don't know what's going on. There could be stuff going on.
No, but there's no chance that they'll go, we haven't been over there, and someone goes and there's like an Arndale centre. Nothing's going to be there, is it? So there's no...
Well, I'll tell you what is there, okay? There's these various small tribes. Some of these tribes are still cannibals, eating people from other tribes.
Do they know they could move on? Have they got a telly? Or have they seen a telly and gone, I'm not up for that? Or are they saying...
It's not the Amish.
They haven't chosen
But what
this.
is the difference between the Amish and these people?
Well, the Amish are a group of people that choose to live in that way. These people are just essentially untouched by civilization. I mean, they do have interaction with civilization, and people do come there, but they still live in this very, very almost prehistoric way.
They did buy a telly, but there was nothing on because there isn't any broadcasters.
They couldn't plug it in.
Yeah.
They're having an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
But there was one guy, okay, now he said that his brother was dying. This was a couple of years ago, right? His brother was dying. He said to his dying brother, what happened? Why are you dying? This guy said it was a bloke in another village. Okay, he goes over to the other village. He kills this other bloke, right? He eats him, or eats bits of him. The other village gets a bit annoyed. They go, what's going on? Why did you kill this bloke? He went, sorry about that, right? They said, well, you need to make it up to us. He gave him a pig. They said, a pig's not enough. They gave him 5 pigs, so 5 pigs apparently made up for the fact that they'd killed one of them. They said, well, hang on, what are you going to do with this bloke's wife?
Why were they bartering? Why didn't they just get the police in and say, what's going on?
What police?
Yeah. Why didn't they call in Kojak? Because he'd have sorted it out, wouldn't he?
What I mean is, right, they're miles away from anything, but it doesn't sound like the great place to live, right? Could they not move? Could one of them go, do you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm moving or whatever, and go to a proper city. How far away is this? These Papa people to the next?
They're like the Smurfs. They're very like the Smurfs.
But how many miles away from a place with a normal life going on?
But think about this, Carl. Firstly, they don't speak the language. So they don't have any practical skills. They've got no experience of civilization. So even if they chose to go and live in one of these cities, what can they do? How can they function?
I think there's some bacteria that has better lives than that.
That's got to be offensive.
Why?
Okay, how about this is one of the weirdest things. This is one of the weirdest things, right?
Sorry. An entire people, an entire race
Just
of people.
dismiss.
I'm not having a go, but I'm just saying I wouldn't fancy it, is what I mean.
But they
You know what I
don't
mean? We're living
know
in
of
ice.
another world. How can they imagine that they could... Oh, I'll tell you what, this is boring. I'm tired of hunting for food and eating fish from the river. I'll tell you what, I'd like a world where there's iPods and room service. I'm going to go and move to New York. They're not thinking like that, are they, Carl? Because they don't know about this other world.
People go to these places on holiday now. They like a little bit of danger. They like to see how the others live. So all I'm saying is we know they exist.
Yeah.
The Papa people, maybe people aren't going there. It doesn't sound like the best place. I can't imagine it having a tourist board or anything, right? But would they accept me if I popped over there and, with Suzanne in Papa?
Well, okay, this is one of the things that they do, okay, which is a tradition you may have to do. These Kombai, right, they invert their penises. So they push their penises back up inside their bodies.
Like a sock.
What for?
Well,
Keeps it out of the way.
Of what?
Well, if you're running through the undergrowth chasing a hog, you don't want it flapping away,
But
it's also become a kind of ceremonial thing. So if you were over there, you may well have to try it yourself.
You would have to try it yourself. If you went there, you'd have to try it yourself.
but even caveman had little pants on. Why haven't they?
Whoa!
But the thing is, I do loads of charities. I do loads of things like
Go on.
I pay for tools. You know, I do that thing, a monthly payment of £5, paying for toolbox and that for someone out there. I help old people, which I'm going to stop, to be honest.
Why?
Because do you know this thing I do, Steve? Right,
No.
this is a £5 a month as well, right? I got stopped in Leicester Square one day. He said, "Oh, there's a little old woman somewhere. She's cold. Are you going to help her out?" So I was like, "Oh, why me?" Right. So anyway, so they said it's easier if people look after one old woman, right? So
Why me?
I've signed up to look after this old woman called, I don't know, call her name June or whatever. It doesn't matter. So.
It does to her, but go on.
So anyway, so I'm paying this £5 a month, and the first £5, first time I paid it, I got this thing in the post, right? And it had, thanks a lot, Carl. You're looking after June. Here she is, here's a little picture of her, and she's sat there, what have you, with a cardigan on and stuff like that. Every £5 you pay, it'll be cheering her up, and, look after her, pay for her food and what have you. So, for a bit, you feel good, don't you? And you think, well, I've done my bit for the world. Anyway, 2 months later, get another package, right? Picture of June in there again. She's got a tan. So he's saying you're paying to keep her warm. No, they meant a week in Mallorca or whatever. And this is what I mean. People if they can get away with it.
I don't know where to start.
That isn't having a go though.
What do you think? So what do you think? You think they're going? Don't bother getting a job or anything. Go off a bit, go off a bit. It's June,
I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult.
So you think Sir Bob should just wash his hands of the whole affair? You think it's a complete waste of time? Is that what you're saying? That you should just leave them to it? Just leave them to it, let them sink ever more into debt, ever more into hunger. You just think that should just carry on?
Do you know what I think he's saying? I think, now, I'm not words in your mouth. Are you saying they blew the last lot we gave them, they've got to learn a lesson? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
Is that what you're thinking?
No.
What are you thinking?
I'm not thinking anything like that. All I was thinking is about this gig, it might have been better to do it, like, rather than, I don't know, ruining a grass field in Edinburgh and that, do it out in Africa, right? Get people out there, get the tourists up, do you know what I mean? Get a load of people out there. They've got loads
I don't reckon he's going to get people to walk to Edinburgh. I very much doubt
No, but
people are going to fly to Addis Ababa to see Coldplay.
cheap flights and what have you.
Right?
Hot dog stands and that, locals will love that, right? Job done.
Brilliant. Let's put him in charge.
Yeah, just for one day.
Let's put him in charge of Live Aid. If Bob Geldof is listening, I know, you respect him because he used to work on XFM.
No, but he's
if
done a lot
Bob,
as
if
well.
you're listening, please, I would love, oh my God, a conversation, Bob Geldof talking to, forget Kate Bush, forget
That would be
Halma.
amazing.
Can Bob please call in and speak to Carl? No one call except Bob, so we know it's Bob calling. Right, get on the phone.
What's the phone number? What's the phone number?
Can't we talk to him next week?
He might be busy next week.
No,
He's
he
got
won't.
stuff to organise.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You can talk to us next week, alright? I'm not gonna I'll go through the phones, it's mental.
Play a record.
Alright, what we're having? Bit of Killers?
Yeah. The Killers, somebody told me on XFM 104.9. Tell you what, talking of, starving, I went to what is meant to be the best restaurant in the world on,
Oh yeah.
Wednesday, yeah.
Sure. You must be famished.
Well, Jonathan, Ross, booked a table there. It came out, I think he's been trying to get there for a while, and, I think there's a waiting list and everything, right? And,
Well, you can't over you're walking straight in.
he's walked straight in with that, yeah. Me and Jane went along with him and Jane to the Fat Duck in Bray. So it was voted the best restaurant in the world,
Right.
okay? And, it was incredible. I mean, it's across between a restaurant and sort of Barnum. They, just incredible food. But all the way there, I'm thinking, well, I can't eat stuff in normal restaurants. I don't eat red meat. I'm squeamish about things like seafood, anything that's got too many legs, or was a crustacean once, or feeds on worms. I knew that one of their signature dishes was snail porridge, so I'm thinking I'm not going to be able to eat anything here. So I was thinking I had something to eat before I went, and I was thinking they better not have mucked around the bread, right? Got there, beautiful. and it was really quite fantastic. And I let them know straight away that I was a Philistine, and they really accommodated me. You know, I didn't have the snail porridge. They put mushrooms in my snail porridge, which is more of a risotto, and there's tasting menus and that, and it was really fantastic. But Jonathan, halfway through, on the way there, I don't like travel well, on the way there, he actually phoned me and said, "Why are we taking you to this restaurant?"
Good point. Very good point.
They know, even if I go around there, they cook me sausage and mash.
Yeah.
Or, do you know what I mean?
Well, you have the palate of one of those kids from the Jamie Oliver school dinners program, they've got the lovely Jamie Oliver cooked, you know, kind of, ratatouille, but they're going for the sort of chicken Twizzlers.
Well, there's no with chicken. I love chicken. I like the chicken I can eat. I'm squeamish about red meats. There's nothing I've you know, it's a mixture of, it's not morals. There's only one thing I don't eat morally, that's veal. But the other thing else is just like, if it's got eyes and legs and things sticking out of it, or there's
But it hasn't got eyes and legs things sticking out of it. What are you talking about? I mean, it just infuriates me. I actually got to a point now where I refuse to eat out with Ricky. Because I can't, it just sucks the life out of me. It actually makes me depressed. I can't enjoy the experience. If you go to an awards do, they bring out lovely food, you know, 3 courses, and you're whinging. You're always whinging.
Which is hardly cooked, followed by lamb.
Lovely bit of lamb. Who doesn't think lamb is the best of all the meats?
Oh.
And you whinge, you complain, you look at Jane like a little boy who's like, "Oh, Mum, why have you brought me here?" You are just, and I tell you, and I put it at the, you know, I don't want to, you know, badmouth people, but I suspect it's your family. I suspect it was your upbringing. I imagine, you know, that if I came to your house, you know, late 60s, early 70s, came round to your place in Reading, it would have just been the smell of chip fat. Just everywhere. Pervading, just one of those chip fat fries that's just, like you say, constantly, 24 hours a day,
I used to eat
just bubbling away.
I used to eat beef and pork and that, and I used to have to, eventually, when I was getting sort of squeamish and getting older, I'd make her burn it so much that it was just like chewing on a piece of leather anyway, where I couldn't stand the sight of blood or so.
A salad in your house would have been
I'll tell you what
a pickled onion and a packet of crisps.
No, a salad in my house, right, was when it was summer, we were out in the garden, lovely salad, grated cheese, grated egg, 2 bits of beetroot with your leaf, a pickled onion, and a packet of crisps. And that was a salad. But
now is that? Do you agree that is probably the reason why you've got this palate? And I don't even. It's not even a palate. That's too nice a word to use
I've got more squeamish as I've got older. Because I say I used to eat beef and pork.
What do you mean squeamish? I don't understand what you mean. Squeamish.
If I suddenly think about it, I can eat like, you know, like it has to be blasted. It has to be unrecognised to be an animal. You know what I mean? I mustn't see a bit of pink or a bit of fat.
So if we were in biblical times, and you're there, and Jesus Christ has just fed 40,000 with some fishes and some loaves, you'd be going, "I'm not into the fish, JC."
I say take the head off, really cook it, take the skin off. I can see a bit of spine.
And unless that bread is mighty white, I'm not interested.
Yeah, but the thing is, what he hasn't said is, well, he gets frustrated because we have to go from restaurant to restaurant for something I can eat. But the reason we've only got about 3 restaurants to choose from are that, because he doesn't want to spend more than a £5 at lunchtime.
At lunchtime? If I was going out of an evening, you'd spend a decent amount of wallop. But lunchtime,
Would ya?
You'd be happy to spend 20 quid on lunch. Imagine that every single day. There's no one out there who's eating lunch 20 quid a day on lunch. It's crazy. You don't need that much food at lunchtime, because I know what happens. You go in there, you have some kind of, you know, Thai green curry for lunch, you're asleep by 1:30, we're trying to work, we're trying to write TV shows, and you're dozing off like one of those giant anacondas that's just eating a sheep, and it's slowly digesting it. It takes like 3 weeks.
He doesn't eat Carl, he does not like this, but he'll walk a mile out of his way to get a sandwich.
Having an argument over that 50p that time. I don't want to bring that back up again.
Here's the situation, Carl. I lent you 50p, and you decided you weren't going to pay me back. It should be to my discretion if I say, "Don't worry about it, Carl. You should offer me the 50p. Go, there's that 50p I owe you," and I'll go, "Don't worry about it, Carl." But you didn't even do that.
No, it's the way that you were, like...
I said, "Where's my 50p?" You went, "Oh, you don't need that." That's not your decision,
I didn't say that. I said, I don't think I've got it at the moment, or whatever.
Rubbish.
And he's going through my pockets and that.
Rubbish.
50p. Ridiculous.
You've just given him a keg of beer for free, hadn't you?
Well, let's not go over it again. I mean,
I just think value for money is important. Like, now, okay, so for instance, in the morning I have to get the tube, but you can get a travel card, zones 1 and 2, right? It's about £4.70, I think. But before 9:30, it's about £6.50. Alright, and then at 9:30, when the clock, literally on the clock ticks over to 9:30, it's £4.70, right? Now, sometimes I'll get there, it'll be about 9:20. Now, you'd be saying to me, "Oh, just spend it, and I'm thinking, I've got 10 minutes. I'll perhaps read the paper, wait for it to click over to 9:30, and then I can get a cheaper ticket. Now, surely that makes sense. Surely that's logic. Don't I mean, if you were in that situation, Rick, if you were there, right, and you had, let's say you had 3 minutes to wait before 9:30, what would you do? Would you stand there and wait?
No, because waiting to me is worse than anything.
It's madness. It's
I
madness.
can't stand queuing. I can't say no. I'd pay. Yeah.
How long would it have to be before you'd wait?
I
If there
mean,
was like a minute on the clock to go, would you wait?
if they literally said if you wait 30 seconds, it's I go all right.
Well, that is the case. That literally is the case.
Okay, but not 10 minutes now.
What about you, Carl?
I feel if it was 30 seconds, I'd feel flash going. I'd spend £3. But if it was like a couple of minutes, I go. Oh, it doesn't matter. I just wouldn't.
Madness.
Yeah.
Think about how that tots up over the years.
Amazing.
What an amazing track that
Beautiful
is.
tune, yeah.
Neil Young,
Dynamite.
after the Gold Rush. So go on, Carl. Sorry, go on, Carl.
So let's take us back a few steps, Carl. What's the story?
Right, so I did some research, right?
Let's just recap again. There was a guy you read about who had his head chopped off. He was guillotined.
Yeah.
He had said to the people around him,
Count
I am
my
going
blinks.
to blink once I've had my head cut off to
So
show
the brain
that life,
can still...
or the brain
Yeah.
can continue to work after,
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
death. Okay, so yeah, we queried that.
So you weren't having any of it?
Well, no, possibly for a few seconds, till the oxygen stops being fed to the cells because the blood has drained away. But, you know, nothing spectacular. So
Right,
go on.
well, along the similar sort of lines, right? This is quite a few years ago. This fella sort of upset the royal family doing something, right? So they said that this isn't good.
Wasn't Ben Outman at that Jubilee thing, was it?
I can't remember what it was, and they said, right,
That was terrible.
we're gonna cut your head off. You know, you gotta show people that you can't be doing what you've been doing.
What was this, the 1970s? When you say a couple of years ago, you mean maybe sort of...
Was it the olden days when the
Ages
phones
ago.
weren't very good?
Ages ago.
Yeah.
Ages ago, sure.
So, so yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So,
Very philosophical.
Yeah, imagine that when you was near
Could cut your head off.
This
Yeah,
was
fair enough.
literally ages ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, go
Simon
on.
Sharma's History of Britain.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So-
and even before that, which is yonks
Yeah.
before, when it was all mental and different. Sorry, Carl, go on.
So he's having his head cut off, and he's resigned to it.
it's a day before. He's kind of got it into his head now that I'm not going to have my head much longer.
Sure.
So he said, let's make use of this.
Yeah.
He said, I wonder how long, like, the body can stay alive without my head on it, right? So they were like, oh, I don't know. So,
Hoover.
so
The jailers?
whoever he was asking.
These jailers with one eye.
Yeah.
Get that thing.
So he said,
No, wait a minute, I've got an interesting scientific experiment, jailer. Well,
Yeah.
fair enough.
What is it?
So, he said, what I want to do, right, he said, you know, surely it's my last right, you know, I'm gonna be dead tomorrow.
Sure.
So, let's
He
do a
didn't draw
test.
it out this long, did he?
Yeah, he said, let's test this out, you know, he said, do us a favour. He said, you know, it's my last day, what I want you to do is, you're gonna cut my head off, let's put a white line on the floor,
Right.
and see if, you know, because there's no point asking how far he can sort of walk without an head if there isn't a line, because you don't know what to count. Do you know what I mean? If it's just, if he loses his head and he's running around all over the place, you can't really count
That's
that.
not impressive enough, yeah.
So they said, let's make a white line.
Sure.
Yeah. Who said
And-
this? He did or they did?
I think they started to join in with him and saying, well, let's make this a... you know.
Sure. You guess it, go on.
So,
They got Norris McWhirter down. The Guinness people.
Oh, yeah.
so they said, let's get this white line.
Yeah.
And,
Dedication's all you need.
we'll do this tomorrow. And he said, alright then, I'll see you in the morning. So we go-
I'll see you in the morning. Night, night, sleep tight. Bye-bye.
I love the fact that Carl knows exactly what was said. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, he doesn't know the story
Yeah.
or what order it is in
Yeah,
or when
but
it
he
was.
knows exactly what
or
was
who
said.
said what, but he knows the intricacies. Alright then, see you in the morning. Bye, little kissy, kissy, kissy. Oh, I'm not like that. Oh, you joker.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah, anyway.
so he gets up,
Do you want a paper tomorrow? No, I'm alright. Go on.
he gets up and they say, right, you know, today's the day and that. And he said, well, you know, I've got used to the idea. So here's the white line for you.
Got used to the idea. Go on.
So they go, right, you ready then? And he said, I go on. And they cut his head off. And the body walked 32 steps without a head.
Wow.
32 steps.
Incredible.
And that's the lesson, really.
Did it get as far as it walked along the white line, did it?
Yeah, it stayed along the white line, did 32 steps, and then started to stumble a bit, and it just fell over.
yeah,
But,
it
you know,
will
it was
do.
a test that your body can still keep alive for a little bit
Yeah.
when you've lost your head.
Absolute twaddle. Absolute twaddle.
What do you reckon you can do then without an head? How many steps?
Nothing.
There'd be muscular spasm, right?
It would twitch a bit.
It would, yeah. You could not distinctly take 32 steps. The body well, don't...
Yeah.
Is the doctor still on the line?
Yeah.
The fella that bought 6 parrots.
Yeah.
And, you know, you could
Incredible.
have got 32 steps.
Right, so
A
you don't
beheaded
believe
man
that.
doing a bit of line dancing.
Right, you don't believe that, but something that you do believe that a cockroach can live a week without an head.
It can. Slightly different kettle of fish there.
Why?
Wow, insect to, human is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
That
but
difference.
there's not that much difference in
Well, of
some
course there
insects. Do you know that a snake has a heart and lungs and kidneys and stuff?
Go on.
No, well, I'm just saying.
So?
You're making out as if, like, they're a totally different, like, being.
Species. I am making that up. I mean, call me old-fashioned.
Do you know what you're talking about there? I don't want you embarrassing yourself, Rick.
Yeah, I am suggesting they're totally different beings. Yeah, that is. Yeah. Now, Carl, the cockroach is a very different thing. The interesting there is that it lives without its head, because a lot of it's on. There's some of them are phototropic, chemotropic. Some of them just literally have irritation and muscle memory. I mean, they do have a central nervous system, but it's very different. So if you lose the head, it bypasses a lot of that anyway. All it does is run around. The reason it dies is because it can't take on water. But it's very different to a man, right, having consciousness and then losing that, and the body's still going, no, I think I remember what I was gonna do here.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna
call out and
carefully
walk along
walk
the white line.
32 steps along this white line. Imagine just looking down going, oh, missed a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe the head was in the corner going, left!
Yeah.
Left! Left! Oh, he's now, ooh.
Well, let's just put it out. I mean, if anyone listening has maybe had a relative beheaded, maybe in a horrendous car accident, but they got up, maybe they went for a walk, they had a little chat before they passed on.
Carl.
Get in touch. You
Oh,
never
Carl,
know.
you are my favourite being. You are my favourite species.
Now, you, Carl, may not be particularly different genetically from a cockroach. You are,
Why can
generally
cockroaches
speaking.
do that? Why whoever made them went...
Let's play a record. We'll
Do you
discuss
know
it.
when I told him this fact, I send him little facts on text message just to inflame his, interest. I just sent him a cockroach can live 9 days without its head. He texted back, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
What's the point of
They're
that?
not doing experiments, these cockroaches.
It's a boring last week to have.
And he went, and on top of all that, you're thirsty. So it's the worst week of your life, isn't it? That week without your head.
Play a record.
Play a record, Carl.
Competition time next.
Oh,
We need some
look at his little face. Look at his little
If you've not heard
face.
Carl's competition.
Oh, he could live without an head. M&M. Bit late there, weren't you, Carl? Put your little headphones on. Cleaning out my closet.
What are you doing?
I've got to stuff her face with, toilet paper.
Oh.
Do the competition.
Yeah. Do you know, when we were writing the TV show, I was filming it just for our own amusement, just to sort of, I suppose more as a document, really, so that if there was ever, a court of law that needed, evidence of Ricky Gervais's, I don't know what it is, really, sickness, annoyance. He did this for about 2 hours. You see what he's doing now? He's stuffing his face with toilet roll.
Yeah. I'm pushing the lips out so I can just show the teeth.
Do you know that actually makes me want to be sick?
I know.
Yeah, so you gag a little bit.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Good, well, while Ricky does that, Carl, it's time for your quiz.
See, this is what this is on telly.
Right, an
You
example.
have to be quiet or you've got to take that toilet paper out of your mouth.
Okay.
I'm really serious, because it's
Alright.
really annoying.
Okay.
You gonna be quiet?
Yeah.
Right, an example of the game, just in case people didn't hear the launch of it last week. It's a song title. I tell a little story, and that song and that little story is a song, innit?
Yeah.
Right. So, say for example,
What did we do last week?
what did we do last
Oh,
week?
the woman who,
Oh yeah, a woman who really wants to like have a bath because she stinks.
Yeah.
But she can't, because if she had a bath or a shower or a wash or whatever, she'd end up killing herself.
Yes.
No, you didn't say that. You didn't
What?
say she ended up killing herself.
Well, anyway, as an example, that would be one of the stories.
yeah,
and
she's
the answer,
electric.
The
yeah.
answer there is she's
she's-
electric.
yeah, come on
'cause she
then.
couldn't have a shower because she would have ended up killing herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So this week's then, and don't say it if you know it, because the idea is that people can follow, right? There's this bloke, and he buys a new house, right? And he's well happy with it. His girlfriend moves in with him and stuff, and she says, right, let's clean it up a bit,
Yeah.
and, straight away it'll be worth more money.
Good idea.
So he says, right, you do the kitchen and I'll do upstairs and that. she's stripping the kitchen down, and he goes upstairs, and he's in the bedroom and notices little hole to the attic.
Oh, right, brilliant.
Right. So he goes, oh, I wonder how much room's up there, you know, I've never weighed it up. So he goes up there, and it's all, like, dusty and a mess. And he goes, this could make a good bedroom, this. So he starts cleaning it all out, puts all the rubbish, like, bins the rubbish straight away, and there's little boxes with bits in that don't belong to him. I wonder what's in here, right? So he opens one of the boxes, there's like a little lamp.
Oh, right.
And he goes, this might be worth a few quid, right? And he rubs it.
Magic lamp.
And all the room goes all sparkly and stuff. And he goes, oh, what's going on? And then this fella appears, right? In a nice sort of, pair of 501s.
Right.
And he says, what do you want?
I know it already. So all the first bit is irrelevant.
Yeah, but it's about building the story, innit? So don't say anything. If you think you know it, Steve, do you know it?
I don't, so I just quickly recap the end there, I almost missed the end.
So, there you go. He's in the attic, right? His missus is still downstairs, she's not up there.
Okay.
Right, he's on his own. And he cleans this lamp, right? And this fella appears out of all this smoke, and he's wearing a nice pair of 501s, and he's wearing a shirt, and, there you go. What's the song?
What song are you thinking of?
The lines are going mental.
Because
We're
it's
going
so
live.
easy.
Let's play a record, Carl. We'll come back and we'll find out if anyone's got that right. That's a great one, Carl, really.
Right.
Did you just come up with that, literally in the last 10 minutes? Genius. This is genius, definitely. I mean, if those calls aren't from major TV companies, I don't know. I mean, dynamite stuff.
A lot of them are, what's his name's lawyer? Simon Mayer.
Simon Mayer.
That's my favourite thing I've done for years.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
That's great. Back to form there. So, yeah, okay, the lines are going mental just because it's easy. Go on then.
So I think-
first one to get it. The first one to get it, but...
Well, it's not that though, Rick. I mean, Carl has just decided to revise the actual rules of the competition.
Yeah.
So that, we've decided, is very easy. So that's now a qualifier.
And so then they have
And
to
whoever-
answer one live.
Exactly, so whoever gets that one right can
Is
play
it
for
a quick
big money.
one as well? Because some people will lose the will to live. Just cut to the chase. And, because they've got to qualify now, we're throwing an Office DVD that aren't
Yeah, you'll
ready
sign
yet.
that, won't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That increases its value by 42 pence. Right, go on.
We'll just go live, yeah? Hello, XFM.
Yeah, hi, how's it going?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Listen,
A very, very quick recap, Carl, if you will, please, for the people listening.
Very quick.
Right,
A man ends up in a loft.
man's, after moving into this house and that, he's in the loft, and he's tidying up. His missus is downstairs doing the kitchen, because that needed doing. He's up there, he's cleaning up, emptying the boxes. He finds a little,
He rubs a lamp, a fella comes out wearing 501s. What's the song?
What's the song, mate?
are you talking to me?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Well, look, I'm sitting in this bar, right? I'm not ringing up relating to anything that's going on right now. I'm after one of these armbands to go and meet Bowie on Monday. Can you help me out?
What? What? Piss off.
You can't say that to our public.
Yes, I can. What I can't bear is people begging, Rick, on the radio. You know, I can't bear it.
Is that the Australian
People
bloke
just
who's got the Bruce
scrounging
Springsteen
outside.
tickets?
Hello, XFM.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you phoning up for an armband?
No,
No,
Jean
Okay,
Genie.
great.
Gene Genie, of course it is.
Well done.
Well done.
Right, what's
so,
your name?
everyone else can, ring off now.
Slow down. Rewind.
What do you mean?
Again, you've been watching the Flintstones.
No, it's just, you know...
Is it a leopard skin pair of pants that's actually quite a... Go on.
But it's a well-known fact that they wore, like, bear pants or whatever.
Bare pants. What do you mean, bare pants? No, listen, you are a qualified anthropologist, so what,
I mean that, you know, whenever you see them on footage or in a museum...
footage!
Yeah.
Or-
Whenever
or
you
where-
see that
Well,
early
it's a bit
documentary
shaky, isn't it?
footage.
Yeah, it's black and white as well, isn't it? Caveman footage.
You always see them wearing a little bit of fur little pants and that. So, what I'm saying is, even though... What year is it to these, people in the woods?
I mean, I don't know what this conversation
Don't
is
know.
anymore. He's just clutching at straws. His mind, it's like a fly. His mind, isn't it? It's just buzzing round. It's trying to find a window. It is just
It's
like
hitting against pieces of information, but then just bouncing off.
Yeah.
Dazed to perplex.
I was shopping with Carl before Christmas, and we went round sort of Piccadilly and St James's, and those really beautiful shops around there. And I went in one shop. You had to ring a bell to enter.
Yeah.
They came down, and it's like a iconoclastic sort of shop, and they found things from churches and nearly all Russian 16th century pieces onwards. This beautiful carvings and paintings and statues. And I went, oh, it's beautiful. And as I was looking round, I heard Carl sidle up to the bloke and go, what's the newest thing you've got here?
Yeah. Sure, that's his first thought.
I mean, that is the wrong question to ask of a man who's clearly in antiques.
Yeah.
Proud of the fact he's got 16th century kind of classic Russian stuff, to ask, what's the newest thing you've got here? I mean, what sort of question is that? Oh, I don't know, probably the doorbell. I don't know, what does he want to say? Oh, my shirt. What were you
hoping
thinking?
for?
I think it's an alright question, because he was saying there's loads of old stuff in there, and he kept going on about the old stuff. So what was to say? Well, what's the newest thing you've got?
And what was
Do you know
the
what he
newest
said?
thing?
The other question he asked him? He said, how often do you get new stuff in? And I said to him, why did you ask that? He said, well, I was thinking, if you got antiques and you sell it all, what's left? Like, someone's going to sell all the antiques in the world because they're not making... He said, because they're not making any new stuff. What does that mean? They're not making any new stuff?
But I know for a fact no one's ever going to go in there and buy the lot anyway. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I'm not at any point in my life, and I don't think it'll ever happen, will I go, I need some old Russian wood. Because
It was brilliant.
No,
it was, Steve.
no.
It was beautiful. It's amazing stuff. There's stuff. There's these things from the 16th century of sort of like saints and monks, and they're carved.
But
And
there's
they're
loads of it. It's just all piled up. No one's interested. If I was him, I'd go, do you know what? I'm into this, but no one else is. Close shop. Because seriously, it's just piled up, piles upon piles of like old bits of wood with pictures on it and that.
But
There was
think
one
of a man.
fella-
Just think of a man 400 years ago that carved this. You know.
No, but nobody wants it, do they? I've never heard anyone say, you know, oh look, it's my birthday coming up. I'll tell you what I'd love.
What?
Bit of old Russian wood. It doesn't happen. That's what I'm saying. I've never heard anyone saying it. Like, I've never overheard someone saying, you don't know where the Russian shop is, do you? And this is in London where the rates are high. There was this thing, right, Steve? Them old drawings on, like...
It was like a panel from a church that someone had painted,
right, yeah.
and I think it was like, you know, from sort of like 1590 or something.
Yeah.
And it was this a picture of this this saint, wasn't it?
Said 1590. It could be from any time, really. So there's this one there, right, leaning up against the wall, and most of them in there was that Stalin bloke, right? But there was this little...
Right, can I just stop with there? Lenin.
Right,
Okay.
all right then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was on all these bits of wood and stuff, but I saw this other little face, right, little fella with a beard, right? So I said, who's this bloke here? He said, oh, the story there, right? He said, it's this little fella, and he got mugged back in Russia. This is right, isn't it? This is what he was saying. He said he got mugged.
It's just that term, I love that term in a 16th century Russian wood. Oh no, I'm being mugged.
So he got mugged.
He got
and
happy slapped.
and he said, I've had enough of this, right?
Yeah.
And he went to live in the woods, right? Made like a little shed, stayed there. People went to visit him, and like, if you got a problem, you knock on his door and you go, oh, I'm sick of it. And he'll sort of say, yeah, I know what you mean, I've moved out of the city and what have you. And he'd make them feel better, and then they go again. Now, why has that man got a plaque? If he was around now, there's no way he'd have a bit of wood with his face on it, is what I'm saying. If someone had got fed up with living in London or New York or whatever, and they go, I'm going to go and live in the woods, people wouldn't visit him, and he wouldn't get a piece of wood with his face on, is what I'm saying. But this man is selling it for about, I think it was about 750 quid for this bloke's head.
But the chances are that this is either a well-known Russian folktale, or it may even be a piece of classic Russian
He's a
literature.
saint. He was a saint. He was
well, in which
canonised.
case
Yeah.
it's-
But
yeah.
everybody was a saint years ago. That seems to be, like, thrown about, doesn't it? Who's a saint now? Naming one now. Yeah, this fella lived in a woods in a hut. Oh, yeah, that's Saint John or whatever. He's not a saint. He's done nothing. If anything, he's sort of said, I can't be bothered with living in a city with everyone else. Everyone else has got to put up with it, but I can't put up with it. I'm going to live in the woods. Well, if you can't put up with it, you're not good enough, are you? You've got no stamina. And yet he gets a plaque, is what I'm saying. It's annoying.
Who would
Well,
you
it's
like to?
art.
Who would you like to see get a plaque in the modern world? Who deserves a plaque, in your opinion?
Probably like nurses and that who do a lot of bad things that I think I couldn't do that. Carrying lungs about and all that. No, but I couldn't do you know what I mean? That's one job that... my mum wanted me to be a doctor.
Oh, whoa! What was she thinking? Oh, what's her
This
expectations
particular
like
apple
now?
didn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, when did she start giving up that dream? At what age did she start going, Carl, you don't need to study your books anymore. Go and play with the worms in the garden. When did she sort of like let you off that
Is
dream?
it the day that she caught you with a spoon up your nose?
But anyway, talking of emails and that, right? Nick, who's emailed from Australia, right, Melbourne, he's been going on about dolphins and that, problems with dolphins.
What problems?
He's just saying when that wind happened, there was like a bad wind thing going on.
Hold on, wait a minute. What bad wind?
In America, they had that.
Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was like a little bay with dolphins in it, and
Right.
that, with all guns on them and stuff.
What? Whoa.
Because they use dolphins, don't they? They say they're an intelligent animal and stuff.
Yeah.
And they've got them all like, you know, they've all had the training. They're all like ready for battle and stuff.
Right.
Got like rifles on them.
What do you mean rifles?
They've
How can they hold the rifle? How can they hold the rifle?
No, it's sort of on a strap and that.
What do you mean it's on a strap?
I don't know what they kit them out with, but they're just ready for war. Whenever
What
it
are you
kicks off.
talking about?
Listen, though, that isn't the point. Don't worry about it.
Oh, we leave
But what
that
I'm
one, do
saying
we?
is-
That's not the point, so let's leave it.
So they're swimming about.
Yeah,
in this
with
little bay.
rifles and berets.
Whatever they've got on.
Yeah.
Right, ready for battle and stuff.
Yeah, ready for battle, yeah.
The wind comes in.
The wind comes in.
Hurricane
Yeah.
Katrina.
Makes a wave and that. They get out of the little bay,
Yeah.
still all kitted out with all the, you know, weapons.
You're talking
and that.
bollocks.
Steve, do you want to look at the email?
Well,
mate?
there's no way. There's loads of dolphins now swimming round, kitted out
Causing
with
problems.
guns and that, with a strap. How can a dolphin hold a... Again, you've been watching Planet of the Apes. Oh, he's trying to talk to us. What's he saying? He's saying, go ahead, punks, make my day.
Look,
You're
I'm just-
talking shit.
It's just news to say if there's dolphins, you know, if you see a dolphin in that, don't go, oh, it's friendly, because there's some with weapons now. So I'm just reading it out on email. That'll cover it and that. So
Bollocks. We've got a little email straight away, Carl, from Nikki in Beverly Hills, California. She says, Carl, you rock. I hate it when Ricky and Steve ridicule you. I checked out your picture. Although your head is not normal, that's no reason to ridicule you. You look gimp, but I never judge a book by the cover.
cheers.
Is that all you've got to say?
Well, it's only because I've got no hair though, isn't it? That's why it gives that effect.
No, it's perfectly round your head. It's perfectly spherical head. Your face is slightly too big for it. It almost goes over the sides. Perfectly round head. Pug little nose. Funny gimp eyes with no expression. Hangdog look. Like a little mouth, like a little lamprey. Not formed, not human formed. The way your expression is like you've had a lobotomy. Your head goes weird at the back. It's got a little nod in it, like it's really strange, your face, and you're stupid.
We've had a lot of emails saying that. I mean, I think he's just paraphrasing, but... talking of emails, you know, a couple of... I can't remember which show it was, but you mentioned, Carl, that you'd only recently seen a Chinese homeless person.
Oh, yeah.
And it really surprised you because you'd never seen
I've
a
never
Chinese
seen one
homeless
before,
person.
no.
And I actually went along with that. I've still never seen a Chinese homeless person.
Well, now, I can just tell you now that there's a few responses from Los Angeles, people saying there are quite a lot of Chinese homeless people over there because apparently there's a huge homeless community in Los Angeles. So definitely if you want to see them, Carl, that's the place to go. But we've had one from Vancouver, Canada, from a girl called Amy, and Amy herself is Chinese, and she says that she realised herself that she'd never really seen a Chinese homeless person. And although she says that apparently Vancouver has the first or second largest Chinese population in Canada, she'd never seen them, and she actually went for a walk around the Chinatown in her area looking for them, and she could not find any on that particular day. So again, Canada obviously not a place to go for a Chinese homeless.
It was just a point, though. I don't want people sort of...
Well, hold on though. Wait, I'll stop you there. Hello, Ricky, Steve, and Carl. I live in New York City and have seen a Chinese homeless person. Not only is he Chinese, but he is also a midget. He's been living on the streets for the last 30 years. He used to dress in rags, but thanks to a coat drive, he's now wearing a fancy Adidas jacket, right? Now he encloses a picture. He says he gave him $10 to take the picture, and I've seen it, and he's a little Chinese
but
midget fella.
I'm just getting a bit worried that people are going out there sort of looking for these. Because they, you know,
Well, that's what
anything
you
could-
requested.
No, but all I was saying is I saw one. I didn't start saying, excuse me, can you just give us a smile, I'm taking your picture. Do you know
Well, we
what I
had
mean?
loads of pictures of people.
I know, and it worries me a little bit. And I mean, it's not too bad about the one who took one of the little midget one, because if he kicked off, it'd be quite easy to sort of hold him back. But I'm talking about fully grown.
So is that your warning to people? Don't be taking pictures of fully grown Chinese homeless.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, don't be messing about going up to strangers and that and annoying them and stuff, right? Maybe.
Well, I think that's a good rule of thumb. Don't annoy them. But I mean, but that is a hell of a sighting, isn't it? We asked for a Chinese homeless, and they gave us a Chinese midget homeless.
A quick. Oh yeah, my mate went to one of those things in the West End where you walk around and it's aliens and they jump out at you.
Right.
Right. And he was so scared when the alien jumped out and he ripped a bit of his face off. And
What, the
bloke-
alien's face off?
Yeah, it was foam, and the bloke went, "Don't do that, mate."
Brilliant. Well, in the Salem one, I was wandering around, and this was one guy that kept jumping out.
Yeah.
Because there was about 10 of us, I was at the back. I always missed him jumping out. So when I got round, I missed all the frights. It was
Oh
ludicrous.
no.
He'd at least, you'd have thought he'd jump out, then double round and jump out again. For
Yeah.
the people at the end of the
Everyone
queue.
might catch that? No, what
really,
you doing?
no.
We. All right. Okay. Move on. Yeah. Basement Jack's there, keeping it real. Where's your head at?
Where is your head at?
Yeah. I know what they're saying. They're saying, "Where's your head at?"
Where is your head at?
Yeah. XFM 104.9.
Ricky Gervais.
Now.
Just one thing I would say, Rick, is that I've spoken to a few people who've listened to the show, and a lot of people, this is the highlight of their week. It really is. No, a lot of bedbound people, and
Yeah.
and we're not putting we're not really putting the effort in, are we? We're providing nothing.
We're trying, but it's just not coming out right. It's just
The words aren't coming out. When I say them in my mind, they're brilliant.
But it's sort of like getting old. Your mind. I still want to run upstairs and things, but I just the lift. I'd like to run upstairs. I just can't anymore. And I felt that today. The comedy's in there.
There's
interesting
fun, there's
things
humour,
and
there's
it's
interesting
all
stuff.
in the head, and it has to go via the mouth.
Yeah, that's the problem.
it's just not working for me. But it is your birthday. You're 27. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
We're talking about. Can I tell you one of the best presents I ever had?
Cool.
Without doubt, all I ever wanted was a go-kart. This is true. I was like sort of 5, 6, 7, and I eventually, for Christmas, I wasn't sort of spoiled in the sense that I got pocket money, but I always got what I wanted at Christmas eventually,
Right.
because working class mothers they'd get it out the catalogue and pay for it for the rest of the year. So I always got. I really as many presents as anyone else, and I got this go-kart. It was a little red go-kart, and it was a pedal one, and I'd run home from school and I'd be in it, and I'd get up and down the garden for hours. I had to come in from a tea, and this was fantastic. And this went on for like weeks and weeks and weeks through the summer. The next time, it was fantastic go-kart. I'd show off, and then one day I came home and I went. It was always at the back of the shed, sort of up against the shed, and I went in. I couldn't see it, and so I went to the back door. My mum was sort of like washing up with that, and I went, "Where's my go-kart?" I thought it hasn't been nicked. She went, "Your dad swapped it."
Your dad swapped it.
Yeah. I went, "He what?" And I was going to be brave, and I went, "He what?" She went, "He swapped it for a wheelbarrow." And I could see she didn't approve of this, and she was thinking, "I'm going to tell him, and then I'm going to, have this out." And I went, "Right." She went, "It's your wheelbarrow." And I went to the back of the shed, and there was this wheelbarrow. He swapped it with a bloke called Jimmy Dublin, who he worked with.
Jimmy Dublin.
Yeah, I don't know.
I bet he was a respectable member of the community.
He was fine. It was his libel. No, I think he was an Irish gentleman, and that's why we called
surprised
him. That's why I don't know what his real name was. And I think my dad must have been drunk, and he went, "I want to get my son a go-kart." And my dad went, "Well, my kid's got one. He's probably had it for a year. He's probably bored with it."
Yeah.
And then I'll give you this wheelbarrow. And I went to this wheelbarrow, and it was caked in concrete. I could hardly lift it. I just nicked off a building site, obviously. And I'd be there for hours trying to push this wheelbarrow up and down the garden, right? And it was okay though, because I was going on holiday soon, and I 7 years running went to Bognor Regis, a place called Riverside, because some woman around the way had a caravan that we got free for a week, and it was great, just wonderful. And I used to go there with my mum and my nan.
Oh, party time.
Yeah, the age of 7 to sort of no, it was good, because when you're a kid and you wake up in a strange place, it sort of seems weird. You wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning hearing your gran pissing in an iron bucket, and
We've all been there.
You get disorientated. Anyway, and I went on holiday, and I met a little friend who was about my age. We were both sort of like, right, and he'd hired a go-kart. He had this great go-kart, and he came down to my caravan, and I went, "I've got a go-kart." And I remember my mum opening the window of the caravan and going, "Don't lie."
That's so evil.
And I went, I had a go-kart, I had a go-kart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever talk to your father about the fact you swapped it?
No.
You never mentioned it to him?
No.
You still got that wheelbarrow?
I think so. I've grown into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can nearly lift it now. Yeah. And now I'm just too old to run up and down the garden with
now
it.
you get one of your several gardeners to use it all the time. Wow.
Oh, dear. Dre there. Dr. Dre.
Of course.
Bad intentions. Well, it's, do you want to give the winners of the competition?
The winners, yes. Tickets for Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros playing at Brixton Academy this evening. We have some lucky winners. The question I set was, someone else famous is celebrating a birthday today.
Yeah.
I don't mean someone else famous like I'm famous and someone else who's
You
famous.
could probably get into the Monarch.
Well, pound off at least.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, which actor, Dwight Schultz? No, I didn't. I said, which character did
Started
Dwight
off
Schultz
well,
play?
didn't it?
It started off so well. Which character did Dwight Schultz play? What made him famous in the 80s? He's
Yeah.
celebrating a birthday today. I don't know how old he is, probably in his 60s.
Not in his 60s.
The character he played, of course, was Howling Mad Murdoch.
Yeah.
From the 18.
We
I was
did
watching,
accept Murdoch.
I was watching an 18-1 UK Gold the other day, because I always like to have something, you know, so that I can talk to Camfield whenever I meet him.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the thing about Howling Mad Murdoch is, his madness is one of those convenient kind of madnesses where he's not like kind of depressive, where he's trying to kill
Yeah.
himself, or he's just schizophrenic, or he's unreliable. He's just a bit eccentric.
Yeah.
His madness is largely, I'll do some funny voices.
You couldn't have howling slightly off the wall Murdoch,
No.
though, could you? It didn't have the edge.
But it's rubbish. It's rubbish madness.
Or
It's-
howling wacky Murdoch.
yeah, well, that's what he is. He's wacky.
Howling annoying student Murdoch, I think he should have been
Yeah,
called.
exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
the winners, Carl, I think you took some answers.
Tim and Neil.
Well done, Tim and Neil. Are they going together, or are they
No.
No, two separate.
lucky people? Lucky people.
Yeah. I don't think your heart's in it anymore either, Carl.
I was alright today, but Steve's really dragged me down.
Well, let's
Wait a minute, I just need to know why.
No, do you know, like,
Yeah.
when people are being miserable around you?
Yep.
I was full
Yep.
of beans when I came in.
Yep.
Yeah, but you got to remember last week you were really miserable, and that really wound me up.
Yeah, because he was having
So
to
it's
do
moving
stuff
around,
because you know he'd been let down and they were worried about
Yeah,
the
last
next
week you were
show.
in a terrible mood.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like
the
you were.
songs, I wasn't like going off and lying on the settee looking ill, talking in that voice.
Oh, he's done you again.
I said just now, being quite friendly. Yeah,
Carl,
Steve.
Carl, have you ever tried to get into the Monarch for free? Because I'll be honest, mate, it's not going to happen for you. Come out with me, mate. You got a quid off. All right.
Oh.
When you can get in places in Camden for free.
Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's done you. Right, now it's time for Song for the Lovers. Now, this is one of my favourite songs of all time. You'll know this song better done by... That was nearly a sentence. Oh, come on, that was nearly a sentence. What's his name? Glenn Campbell. It's Galveston.
Oh yeah.
This is the man who wrote it. This is the original. This is Jimmy Webb.
Oh yeah.
With Galveston. From what I can work out, I think it's about a bloke who goes off to the Vietnam War and he's missing his bird. And I've brought it down, haven't I? I've brought it down a tone by saying bird.
It's a beautiful song.
It was irony.
Just play it.
Galveston. It's beautiful. Jimmy Webb with Galveston. Now, I know you enjoy
Love the work of
the
Webb.
Webmeister.
A lot of people, of course, be familiar with his sons, the Webb brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, very different. Quite cool, though. I went to see him live and he was just so cool. Just like doing his songs and telling a little anecdote. It was just, he's fantastic. That's my song for the lovers. Steve, what have you got for
well,
us?
no, I was just going to mention a couple of other gifts that my father got. Well, he got me once. I unwrapped once, having professed no interest ever in this particular artist, about as much interest as Winston Churchill. I once received, lucky me, the making of Thriller. It was a video behind the scenes on Thriller from Michael Jackson.
I know what he
film.
thinks, though.
But he said to me-
he thinks
he said-
Steve loves to dance.
No, he went. You love music and you
Yeah.
love films.
Yeah, no, that's a film, yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I've never professed any interest. I mean, I don't think it even had Thriller, the actual film, on it. It was just the making of Thriller.
Really?
Behind the scenes, Michael Jackson dancing around.
And John
saying-
Landis.
Yeah, it was rubbish. If
Well,
I'm
that's
being
not
blunt.
very nice, is it? But what did you say when you opened it? Brilliant.
Brilliant. I love Jackson. Can't wait to watch this. Can we watch it now? I said.
What did he say?
No.
He's so ungrateful, really.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember a time my dad bought me anything. It's always my mum who bought it, and my dad would give her the money.
Yeah.
You got Ricky who's lost his go-kart. You've had a video bought for you and you're still not happy. I just think it's selfish.